Hey guys, welcome back to some more reviews. I'm Warboy465, aka Nate Murphy the Explorer Forward here. Welcome back to some more reviews. And before I get into the review, before I get into the rant, because this is for sure going to be a rant, before I get into the review, I wanted to apologize for my absence here on YouTube. I've been gone I haven't made a video in 6 days, but this week is probably one of the most busiest weeks I've ever had. Like, seriously, it's the first week of school. I'm back in the school. I had to make sure I focused and paid attention in school. I really haven't had any time to make videos lately, and I do apologize for that. Also, earlier on this week, I got a little bit sick. I really wasn't feeling, up to making videos. But yeah, I got sick a little bit. I'm still a little bit sick, but not as bad as it was towards the beginning of the week. And that's why I haven't made a video in a while. So I do apologize for that, guys. But I figured I'd do this review because I reviewed the original movie, I reviewed the original Fog, so I figured that I'd do this review of the remake so that I had both movies reviewed. And I had no desire to see this. I did not want to watch this movie. I heard and I've seen clips, I've seen trailers of this movie, I've seen reviews, I've heard about the movie. I had no desire to see the movie, but I decided to watch it and do the review because I wanted to get both the movie reviews done. And, I already knew for a fact when I was going into this movie I was going to rant on it just because, just looking at that front cover, it just, and even looking on the back cover, and even looking at the DVD itself, when you look at that, you just know you're going to get yourself into a bad movie. When literally on the freaking disc, you got the Fog, the stretched out CGI face, which they do in the movie a lot, you're getting yourself into a bad movie. You also know you're going to get yourself into a bad movie. It was directed by Rupert Wainwright, who had made very little movies before this. I believe he made music videos and stuff like that. And then he made Stigmata, he made Blank Check, and he made Dillinger. And I have no clue why the frick they got this guy to make a remake to The Fog. And, of course, today I'm talking about The Fog remake from 2005. The movie gets a 3.6 on IMDb. That should tell you guys how bad this movie is. When they can get a 3.6 on IMDb. I mean, what aren't the problems with The Fog remake? I mean, it's a remake that was not wanted. I'm a huge fan of the original Fog. I think it's a classic horror film. John Carpenter had a great mood with it. You have practical fog effects. In this movie, you see freaking stretched out ghost faces and they're screaming and stuff like that. You didn't need that in the original Fog. In the original Fog, you see a couple of decayed faces and stuff like that, and you see glowing red eyes. You didn't need to see all these CGI, fog ghosts stretching their faces out and screaming in CGI. It looks like crap. It looks silly. You didn't need that in the original movie. All you need in the original movie was to see a few glimpses of their decayed face, which looked very creepy, and glowing red eyes. That made it creepy. That made it work. In this movie, you just see like CGI fog effects throughout the entire movie. Maybe a few shots of practical fog effects if you're lucky to get that, but most of the fog in the movie is CGI. And this is a remake that, there are certain remakes that shouldn't be made. There are certain remakes that are not needed. There are certain remakes that have been made that are complete crap and didn't need to be made. And some examples of those remakes are the Psycho remake. You didn't need a Psycho remake, especially the way they did it, where it's a line-to-line, shot-for-shot, everything by everything, a remake of the original Psycho. Only, updated 90s technology and a strong collar. And that's pretty much the differences between the original Psycho remake. Even though I haven't seen them yet, but I've seen the trailer, I've seen clips, I've seen reviews of that movie as well, the Psycho remake, and once again, I mean, it looks like a freaking complete copy of the original Psycho, only in color and updated, electronic stuff like that, and they made Norman Bates like a perverted psycho, killer. That's the only thing that's different about that movie. But I haven't seen the Psycho movies yet. I haven't seen the original Psycho. I haven't seen Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4. I know there's one called, there's like Bates Motel. Not the TV show. There's actually a movie called Bates Motel Then there was the Psycho remake, I think that came out after that, or before, I can't remember. But then they made a TV show, which I seen a little bit of, and I didn't mind it. Thought it was okay. Um, yeah, Bates Motel came out in 1987, so it came out before the 90s remake of the Psycho. Before it came out before Psycho remake, so Bates Motel came out before Psycho remake. But getting back to this remake, it's just a remake that was not needed. That was not any way, because at the time this was made, the original Fog wasn't even that old, And I love the original Fog. It's written by John Carpenter. You got a great cast. You got Jamie Lee Curtis. You got Tom Atkins in there. You got Janet Leigh. You got so many great actors in that movie. They all did a good job. You got practical fog effects, practical gore effects, practical, just practical special effects. And you had practical fog. You had these pirates going around killing people, and like I said, practical effects. Here, you got CGI effects. You got CGI fog. You got boring dog characters that cannot act. You got boring direction. This movie has no fun to it, no good moments in it, nothing like that. The original movie has so many good moments, like the moment where the DJ character, I forgot her name, Stevie Wayne, who in the original movie was played by Adrienne Barbeau, and she was also. The other thing about the original movie is that Jamie Lee Curtis, you had Adrienne Barbeau, Janet Leigh, you had Tom Atkins, you had the guy. Excuse me, I'm over here. It's not right on my nose. But you had Hal Holbrook from Creepshow in that, playing the Father Malone character, who was actually likable in the first movie, and he actually did something. He actually did something in the original movie. Here, the Father Malone character is a complete jerk. He's useless, doesn't do anything. In this movie, like I said, you got a doll cast. You got the guy from Smallville, Tom Runyon, playing Nick Castle. Completely boring character. You got Maggie Grace playing Elizabeth Williams from the Taken movies. She's also in Lockout. She played Liam Neeson's daughter in the Taken movies. I think she did better in the Taken movies. Even though I haven't seen the Taken movies in a long time, I believe the most recent one I've seen was Taken 3, but I watched Taken 2 a while ago, and I watched Taken 1 a while ago. I don't remember the Taken movies that much, but I do remember that she did a pretty decent job in those movies. But in this movie, she's a completely boring character. And they rehash scenes, they rehash dialogue. This movie was literally only made for money. The only reason this movie was made for money. It was a cash-in remake. It was made to get some money, and from what I'm looking at here, it didn't make that much. It cost $18 million, made $29 million. So it was like a blockbuster hit. And it's just a remake that's completely useless. It's pretty much the same story. I mean, you got Antonio Bay. They're celebrating the anniversary of their founding. I guess the people who helped found the founders of their town. They're celebrating that same thing. The only differences in this movie is that instead of it being a hitchhiker, instead of Maggie Grace playing a hitchhiker, she was actually somebody from the town that she left for like 6 months and comes back. They don't even explain it at all. They might have explained it, but I don't remember it at all, so I don't freaking care if they freaking explained it, because I don't freaking remember it at all. So you got freaking just like, they bring that up, and it's like, they don't even freaking do anything with it. It's just like, oh, well, she left, and then she came back, and I'm like, you gotta make a freaking point if you're gonna do that. What's the freaking point of putting that in there? They don't got no point to it. And you also got that a lot too in this movie. You got a lot of points in this movie that are just pointless. You got a lot of silly scenes, a lot of stupid scenes that are completely goofy and silly and just cartoony and freaking CGI crap, which I'll get to. But pretty much the differences is like I said, instead of being just a hitchhiker, she's actually somebody coming back to the town when she lived before. And also, I guess the legend's a little bit different because in the original movie, I remember the Father Malone character. Something to do with he had a golden cross, and it was stolen gold. And I guess his grandfather had forged into the cross when it wasn't his gold, and that's why the curse from the town happened, stuff like that. That's why he has to give them the Golden Cross back to the pirates. Here it's a little bit different. The founding fathers were pretty much these monsters, these really disgusting people. They went onto this ship with people with polio or something like that on there, and kill all these people, take their gold. They end up dropping it in the water, and when these people end up getting killed, then the people on the ship end up coming back to life and haunting the island. So I think it's a little bit more different than the original movie. The rest of the freaking movie is the same. I mean, except like stupid PG-13 crap. And I'll get to it in a second. But like I said, you got a boring cast. It's like I said, PG-13, so no blood, no gore, no nudity, nothing like that. CGI effects everywhere. A freaking over-the-top, completely freaking ridiculous score that sounds so horrible. You know what the good thing about the original movie is? It had a great theme song. It had a great score in general by John Carpenter. Here, the score is ridiculous. It's mediocre. Over-top moments with like freaking, they're trying to build suspense to the score, and it just sounds ridiculous. I can't explain it, but it just sounds ridiculous. If you guys watch the movie, you guys know what I mean. The score is over the top and ridiculous. And pretty much, like I said, you see at the beginning of the movie, you see a flashback of a ship burning down. You're not sure what's going on. Then the fog gets to come back to Antonio Bay, and pretty much got this character. Trying to remember his name. He's pretty much the friend of the Nick Castle character, Spooner, played by D. Ray Davis. Horrible actor. There's even a moment in the movie where he literally sees like a ship come out of the fog, and he goes like, "Oh my God, run!" That's literally his reaction. Literally his reaction. And he pretty much played this really annoying character. I didn't care for the character Spooner, and it's pretty much the fog is messing. Pretty much big things are happening when the fog comes around. People start disappearing. You see a couple of death scenes. There's actually a scene where the Spooner character and a couple other characters on this boat. And there's even a freaking dumb line where he's like, because the radio messed up, so it stops playing music, and he's like, "Oh, that's the new song." The song starts with static, and then it goes to music. And I'm like, that's a freaking stupid line. And then you got pretty much CGI fog coming on the boat. It ends up possessing, I guess, one of the girls on the boat. Stupid scene where she goes over to this. Because there's like fog on the glass, sort of, stuff from the glass, and she like forms a symbol from the pirate ship from the beginning of the movie. And I'm wondering, like, so the fog possess her? I was wondering, like, what is this fog doing, possessing people now? And then all you see is they get thrown out the window, no blood, nothing like that. And then, a knife gets thrown into some guy's eye, but you don't see anything. It happens so fast, you don't see no blood or nothing like that. And then the Nick Castle character hides in the freezer. That's when, not the Nick Castle character, then the Spooner character hides in the freezer. And then pretty much Nick Castle picks up Elizabeth Williams, asks her why, she's been gone forever. And she pretty much doesn't give any explanation. She just says, "Oh, well, I've just been gone." So he picks her up. The next day, they saw that the Spooner character and the boat they were on is missing. They go out to the boat and literally find frozen dead bodies with like freaking, their eyes sewed shut. They might not be frozen, but they look frozen. You see like frozen dead bodies, and they pretty much find the Spooner character in the freezer, and he's frozen. He's all frozen up too. And pretty much they go back to the island. Stuff starts happening again. You got that same scene where it was literally only, what was good about the original movie when this scene was done? It was so intense that I was literally almost biting my nails. Like, that's how, and that had me on the edge of my seat. The scene in the original movie where the body in the morgue rises up, walks over to, I think it's the Jamie Lee Curtis character, walks up to her, or it's either her or the Adrienne Barbeau character. I think it's Jamie Lee Curtis character. Walks up behind her, and it's good makeup effects on a dead body, and when she turns around, it's gone. I think that's what happens. But I remember the original movie, that scene being suspenseful, being really scary, very creepy. In this movie, Same thing happens, only, and looking like cheesy makeup effects. Walks over, actually grabs her, so there's no suspense, and then says a few things and falls on the ground. So it's like a no suspense to that scene, no tension. The original movie was tension because you didn't know what was going to happen, and she turns around and it's gone. Here, it just grabs her, says something, and falls down. And then the fog causes mayhem. You see cars on fire. You got the same sort of scene where, the Adrienne Barbeau character, not the Adrienne Barbeau character, but her character from the original movie, Stevie Wayne, but by Selma Blair, which boring character. Her son is in the house, and literally, she calls him and tells him. There's even a scene, I think that happens in the original movie, but, in this movie, it pretty much just hairbrush, catches on fire like red hot, and then catches everything. It catches like a little part of the building on fire, and she has to put the fire out. Then she calls her son, and then she tells her son, "Hey, stay away from the beach." So what does the son do? He literally puts the phone down and goes, "Hey, can I go to the beach?" Talks to his babysitter, like, "Hey, can I go to the beach?" He says, "Sure." I'm like, so she literally just called this kid and had said, "Hey, don't go on to the beach." And it goes on, and he just gets off the phone, really hangs the phone up and goes, "Hey, can I go onto the beach?" And literally goes onto the freaking beach. And then he sees this guy down by the beach, and he has that stupid scene where he sees like a freaking table with like candles and chairs around it, and then he finds a rope. And literally, the fog is coming in, CGI fog. He literally grabs the rope, and the rope leads out to the middle of the freaking water. And literally takes the rope and is walking out into the water towards the fog. And I'm like, I know that he doesn't understand the fog is dangerous, but what is he going to do? Is he going to keep pulling that rope until he's in 100 feet of water or something like that? It doesn't make sense. So why the freak would you do that? And then he just pulls the rope out to the middle of the fog, and then you don't really see anything. He disappears. The kid runs back to the house. The fog, just like the original movie, the fog trying to get into the house. Only in the original movie, I remember the babysitter having a cool death. Here, all it is literally freaking in CGI. Decayed hand grabs the babysitter, and her she starts decaying in CGI all over in CGI, and then she just falls to the ground. And then the fog is chasing the kid, and he literally takes tape. I'm not kidding. He takes freaking Scotch tape and tapes the door and leaves the cracks. He leaves little cracks. Doesn't even tape all the way. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, what the freak are you thinking, kid? This isn't gonna stop the fog. And maybe if it was duct tape or something like that. But no, you look this Scotch tape and just and you can still see cracks in the door and everything. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the freak is this? Are you kidding me? Take Scotch tape and just and it goes around the bed. Like I said, one of the most dumbest remakes I've ever seen. Some of the characters making dumb decisions, dumb reactions, and the Nick Castle character comes up, breaks the window, gets the kid out of there. They end up going back instead of the end of the first movie where it was in a church. They go back to this museum. And in this movie, they focus so much on this museum. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about this backstory of the pirates and, how, they had this disease and how they got killed or murdered. I didn't give a crap. I really didn't. I didn't care for this museum. You see a lot in the movie. They're trying to describe these different items, stuff like that. I didn't care. It was boring. They go back to the museum. You got Destiny with some CGI glass, pretty much the lead, I guess, ghost of this pirate, of these group of ghost pirates. Pretty much holds out this staff thing, and all the glass in these different cases, the glass cases, breaks, and it just kills the Von Malone character. And it literally just stands there. He literally just stands there, and then the CGI glass goes through him and kills him. No blood or nothing like that. And then all that happens is the Stevie Wayne character, I swear, she's on her way to go back to the house to see her son. Then a freaking truck hits her car, she goes down in the water, there's a CGI fog ghost, which I gotta mention this as well. In this movie, because the original movie, it was so suspenseful and it built so much tension. You did not need to see CGI stretched out freaking faces in the fog like this, trying to make sure they're not upside down like that. You didn't need all that. And you actually see in the movie, like literally a fog ghost thing stretches out its face and goes like, rah, and CGI. And I'm over here laughing. Looks silly. I swear, the simplicity of having just bright red eyes, you know, and decayed practical effects sometimes, but having those glowing red eyes, simplicity worked in the original movie. Simplicity worked here. The CGI stretching out their faces, stuff like that, and screaming was silly and ridiculous. And then, literally, freaking, I'm not lying to you guys. The Adrian Barbeau, well, not the Adrian Barbeau. I keep calling her Adrian Barbeau because Adrian Barbeau played Stevie Wayne. Because Adrian Barbeau was Stevie Wayne. This girl, Selma Blair, is not Stevie Wayne. So that's why I keep saying the Adrian Barbeau character, because she played a better Stevie Wayne. But the Selma Blair character, Stevie Wayne, she literally, freaking literally, they're walking through this, like, literally, because pretty much the lit cast of Elizabeth Williams, they rescued this kid, they're walking through this town, they're getting ready to go in the museum, and literally, the Stevie Wayne character pops out of nowhere, just comes out of the frame, and then in the frame, she literally is out of the frame, comes into the frame, and jump scare, which I gotta mention, there's a lot of jump scares in this movie, annoying, unscary jump scares, none of them worked. I was just like, really gonna put that many jump scares in there, and just pops in out of nowhere. Literally, just comes in, you know, and you know, is hugging her kid and stuff like that, and pretty much they go back to the museum. That happens, that the father character gets killed, and then the Elizabeth Williams character pretty much kisses the lead ghost, pirate ghost character, kisses him. She turns into, I kid you not, this ending is so confusing, where she kisses the lead pirate ghost, you know, guy, whatever. I don't remember his character's name. But I think it was Tom Malone. I think it was Father Malone's great-grandfather or something like that. But he pretty much kisses the Elizabeth Williams character. I kid you not. She literally turns into a ghost. And then they just disappear. And then that's pretty much the end of the movie. You know, the town's being rebuilt. You got Elizabeth, you know, not Elizabeth Williams. You got the Stevie Wayne character on the radio going, I'm not sure what happened last night, but something's for sure. Something came back. Was it for revenge? Or was it for... I don't freaking remember the line that much. It was a forgettable movie, so... yeah. She says this line, movie ends, I'm thinking, what the frick just happened? What the frick was the point of the ending? So, I guess he came back to get the Elizabeth Williams character, and then they just go away. Freaking confusing ending. So, I don't understand how the Elizabeth Williams character turned into a freaking ghost and they walk off in CGI. Stupid. Goofy. Stupid, goofy, and confusing. It's just so confusing. I'm like, what the heck is this? They literally kiss, and then she turns into a ghost, and then she just walks off with the Tom Malone character, and that's it. That's it. End of the movie. What the freak is this? It's one of those remakes that shouldn't have been made. It was just a cash-in remake to get some money. Didn't make that much money. Has bad, horrible, awful CGI effects, being the sci-fi movies, you know, being on Sci-Fi Channel CGI effects, boring cast, boring pace, extremely boring film. The score is freaking ridiculous and over the top, and it freaking sucks. The score freaking sucks. It was a remake that wasn't needed. The direction freaking sucked. This guy who directed it, freaking Rupert Wainwright, who had made music videos, a Disney movie, and what else? I forgot that one movie that he made. Stigmata. I don't understand why they got him to direct this movie. It's freaking got goofy ideas, goofy scenes. You got scenes that are not well shot. You got no mood. And you know what's funny is that, for me, fog in a horror film, I think it works better than, you know, thunderstorms and rains in a horror film. I think if fog is done right, it really sets a mood to a horror film. You know, I don't mind, you know, thunderstorms and rain and stuff like that, and rain and stuff like that in a horror film. But I feel like fog is even more eerie because you can't see that far in front of you, you can't see around you. Fog is creepy. How do you not make fog creepy? This movie, the fog was not creepy. It looked like it was fake CGI. You got freaking literally, if the Invisible Man was running in the fog, that's what it looks like. You literally see invisible people running in the fog sometimes. Just, you know, vroom, vroom, vroom. Like the Invisible Man running in the freaking fog. I'm like wondering, like, why the freak is the Invisible Man in this movie running around in the fog? I was just wondering that. And that's what it reminded me of. Is if the Invisible Man was running in the fog, is what it looks like. It's boring, it's dull, it's a piece of freaking crap, and I don't even care if it gets broken. I paid, like, once again, I paid $1 for it. So it's a piece of crap remake, pointless, unneeded, just not freaking needed, boring, dull acting, horrible, over the top score, no mood, no suspense, no tension, dumb characters, dumb decisions by the characters, a little bit cliche, and just no atmosphere, nothing good to this movie. There really is not. So I'm kind of debating on whether or not I should call this a mega ultra freaking rant or just a rant. You know what? This might be a mega ultra freaking rant. I'm not sure, but you know what? It's gonna be a tough decision. But the point is, the Fog remake freaking sucks. I had no desire to see the movie. I did not want to see the movie. But I figured that since I reviewed the original movie, I would watch and review the Fog remake. And it was not good. Try to avoid this movie, guys. It's freaking boring. It's got bad CGI. It rehashes the story. Barely anything new in it. No practical effects. PG-13. It freaking sucks. It sucks. This remake freaking sucks. I would honestly say, probably the most boring remake I've ever seen. Probably the most dumbest remake I've ever seen. You know what? I don't know if I can say it's the worst remake I've ever seen because there's a lot of remakes out there, but I would definitely say it is one of the worst freaking remakes I've ever seen. So yeah, screw the freaking Fog remake. The Fog original movie was so much more better, and it did not need a remake. It was a classic. So yeah, so thanks for watching my rant on the Fog remake, and I hope you guys enjoyed the rant, and thanks for watching the review, and thanks for watching my review for Fog movies. I know it took me a while to get to this review. But like I said, I had no desire to see the movie. I didn't want to see the movie, so that's why it took me a while to get to this film. So I do apologize for that. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review or my freaking rant on the Fog remake, and thanks for watching the review rant on the Fog remake. And I'll see you guys on the next review. Bye, guys.